Welcome back to the 12 Days of Christmas, hosted by Rustic and Lace DIY and Molly Cole Creations. The second day of Christmas is tabletop decor. For this one, you will need some kind of a glass jar with a metal lid, and we're going to rust the lid using salt, vinegar, and hydrogen peroxide. It does help if you scuff it up a bit with some sandpaper. The key to getting this to rust is to add more hydrogen peroxide than vinegar or salt. I checked it every few minutes and could tell something was happening, but it wasn't happening as quickly as I thought it would, so I left it for at least half an hour. And here's the way it turned out, and you can tell it did rust more on the places where I sanded, so I could probably have sanded that top a little bit more. Now I'm adding some Epsom salt to my jar to make a snowy frame for my printouts. I printed from Graphics Fairy some vintage Christmas postcards, and I'm going to roll that up and put that into the jar. You could also use family Christmas photos or take the snow out and use regular photos any time of year. Now I'm going to add some baker's twine and a small Christmas tree to embellish the top. I love how this little jar turned out, and it's very simple and a different take on a photo frame. A letter. I'm starting with one of these trays from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to give it a coat of white Waverly paint. Next, I'm going to be printing out what I want on the letter on this piece of tissue paper. So I'm cutting it to size so that I can feed it through my printer. Now I'm using a paintbrush dipped in water to kind of tear away the edges so that there's not such a defined edge. I'm going to be using the iron-on method for this, but this was probably not the best choice for the tissue paper. However, it worked out all right. So I'm giving it a coat of Mod Podge. I'm letting it dry, and then I'm placing my tissue paper on top of the box. Once I have it placed where I want it, I'm using a pressing cloth to put on top of it and then adding my iron. Now, if you have any doubt that this reactivates the Mod Podge, just watch. My pressing cloth does stick around the edges where I did not have tissue paper. Thank goodness it didn't mess anything up, so I just continued on. Now I'm going to give the whole thing a little dry brushing with a chip brush and mineral chalk paint by Waverly. Once this had dried, I decided to give it just a touch of color, so I'm going to add some greenery and red berries. The cutest little farmhouse Santa letter. This is a wooden house that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to remove all the embellishments. I am going to leave that gather on that side of the house because I may choose to use that again at some point. The book page is from an old gardening book that I found at a thrift store, and I'm going to trace around it and cut it out to fit the back of the house. I am using the iron-on method for my Mod Podge, so I'm going to coat my house with the Mod Podge, let it dry, and then place the book page on top along with a pressing cloth and use my iron to adhere it. I love this method because I never get wrinkles this way. Now I can use my finger sander and remove the excess paper. Now more of that velvet ribbon. I'm going to hot glue that to the front, and then we'll add some embellishments. Just to glam it up just a tad, we're going to use this gold paint pen and just go around the edges. This is my favorite DIY from today. I hope that you like it too. A great little addition to your farmhouse kitchen corner. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you'll consider subscribing and hitting the frame. The frame is from Dollar Tree, and the greenery that I'm using is from Dollar General. I removed the 2 glass pieces and set one aside. I used stickers I had on hand to spell out the word Mary, but I didn't even have all the right letters, so I pieced together a few different pieces to make my Y and my E. Sometimes it's all about making do and using what you have. I started with placing the middle letters first so that I could be sure the word was centered in the frame. Once all the letters were pieced together, I replaced both pieces of the glass. I chose to embellish the frame with some mistletoe from Dollar General. For this project, I'm using one of these glass bowls from Dollar Tree. This is not one I went out and bought. I already had several of these. So I'm gonna give it about 3 coats of white Waverly chalk paint inside the bowl. I'm gonna let it sit a couple of days and touch up any spots that are left. I decided not to use my silhouette and cut out any vinyl for this. I'm just using paint. So I'm using the end of a couple of different sizes of paint brushes just to make the mouth and the eyes. And then I'm using a very thin paintbrush to paint on the nose. I really like that this planter is more neutral, being just black and white, including the nose. I think he turned out so cute. This is probably my favorite project. I have our host channels listed in the description box below, along with the playlist. I'll see you back here tomorrow for the third day of Christmas, tags. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.